So with spring just around the corner,
Yep.
what are you expecting?
Look, I know, looking at my own personal diary and speaking to other auctioneers, that there is certainly more auction stock coming on. I do hope that flows through, and that's I guess, an indicator of to what the broader marketplace is doing. Thankfully, what we've had is the market conditioning sellers. If you go back 12 months ago, people were still hoping for the prices of 6 months before that. And they were heat prices. So there was a lot of problems with conditioning and a lot of gaps and a lot of properties trialing the market, hoping for the dream price and then pulling off and going off the market 3 months later because it just wasn't there. What we're finding now is that properties that are coming to the market, the 12 months of sales that they're looking at have been the ones that have been happening during the downturn, during the correctional phase, and during the market plateauing. So thankfully, the ones that are coming onto the market at the moment, they've been attuned to reality, as opposed to, again, going back 12 months, the ones that were still hopeful of the dream price. So I would say in more cases than not, we're going to see almost anything that goes to market sell.
Yeah.
I do think the ones that go to auction will sell competitively. I really wish that the conversation would be that people wouldn't look at perhaps the $100,000 they might make in another year or two if they wait, and flip the conversation around and realize that now's the best time to buy. And the savvy people, this is the sort of market, the flat market, is when they make money. And it's a great time to transition up into that dream home. You've got to remember that if your home goes up 10%, so does theirs. And if you're buying, and if you're buying and selling in the same market, that's okay. But stamp duty is never relevant. So it does cost you more. And I'm buying and selling in the same market argument, it's never the same. I think now's a great time. And I know I say that as a real estate agent, and I know my audience right now are real estate agents, and we're all nodding. But honestly, it is a great time to be a transitional buyer.
Say an agent's got a vendor a bit on the fence, like they've been talking to them for a few months now about whether or not it's a good time to sell.
Yep.
What's the sort of conversation that the agent should be having to sort of say, okay, this may be the right time for you?
Yeah, well, I think like anything, I mean, you've got to identify the motivation. You've got to find out what they're trying to do. If it is to get into a certain suburb, do some research on that suburb and know what it is that they're trying to achieve, and I guess become ingrained in their journey. And knowing a little bit more or a lot more about their circumstances and where they're trying to transition to can certainly help that dialogue. If they're looking into an area that hasn't had a spike in listings volume for the next 6 months, you can probably be pretty confident forecasting that that's not going to change. And so what are they waiting for? And why not now? And so I guess, like anything, when it comes to our game, knowing as much as you can about the seller's circumstances is going to give you as much real-time dialogue and ammunition, I guess, for lack of a better description, to actually get them to make those decisions. So, but again, if they're on the fence, the low stock is the biggest driver at the moment. I would be I guess, much more happier if I was personally selling my home, if I was one of 5 that people were looking at as opposed to one of 25, because it is the numbers game. And I know we all know it, and I know we all say it, but mums and dads who sell once every 7 years, they might not understand it as well as we do. So it sounds like we're going back to basics, but you've got to remember you're talking to a homeowner, not a real estate agent, and just reminding them about the numbers game and how that benefits them as a seller.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really is about staying close to the people in your local area and, having those regular conversations with them like a regular human being about what
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When they talk to us, they know that the dialogue is going to be real estate related. They get that. They open their door and they expect to talk to us, or they bump into us and they expect to talk to us. But they also do that because we're the person that's going to eventually, hopefully, steer them in the right direction when it comes time.